Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to this week's Weekly D, where I have the lovely Lewis on to talk to me about all things social media, especially how to create the best thirst trap content for Instagram. Without further ado, this is the Weekly D. Because, honey, if you ain't getting your D on the daily, you better at least be getting it once on the weekly. Hey, Lewis, thank you so much for coming onto my podcast. It's a
Thank you for
pleasure to
having
have
me.
you. We were just saying before this that it's so weird to actually be talking to you because as someone that I've followed for quite a long time now, and we've talked online, but we've never actually spoken. So it's nice to be able to chat to you. How are things in Singapore?
It's good actually. Hopefully my classes keep selling out. So yes, currently it's good. So yeah.
That's amazing. And PXD is your studio. This is the studio logo behind you, the
Oh
iconic
yes.
PXD wall. So this is your studio, or it's yours and your partner's studio?
It's me and my girlfriend's studio. We both own it together.
Nice. That's amazing. So, did you guys start the business together, or did you own it first and then she became a partner of the studio, or you literally started it together?
No, we started it together.
That's amazing. So, and it's in the center of Singapore.
Yes, that's right. Singapore is
That's
generally really
awesome.
small, so I think most of the studios are around the central area.
So, when you say Singapore is really small, have you ever been to London before? Like, is it a lot smaller than London?
I've never actually been to London before, but I think so.
You've
Yeah,
not?
I've not traveled.
Smaller than like New York?
I've generally been like going around like Asia in general, but never really
Asia.
ventured out. Not
You
yet.
have to come over to London. Yeah, you have to come over. It's so fun over here. And actually, Singapore is somewhere that I'm going to be visiting this year. So I will be, no, yeah, this year, later this year. I'm going to message you and ask for any recommendations of things that I need to see.
Definitely Singapore Flyer, and I'll give you a list of recommendations.
I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. So, to get us started, I've never had you on this podcast before. So, for anyone who's listening to this who is like, I don't know who Lewis is, and they want to learn a little bit more about you, tell them a little bit about you, how you got into pole. Just give us a little bit of info
Okay,
about who
so hi
Lewis is.
everyone. My name is Louis. I own my studio in Singapore called PXD Pole Studio with my girl Dion. Currently, I've been doing pole for about 10, close to 11 years now. I started as a trickster and progressively I went into Exode as well. So I kind of do both. And I was quite into the competitive scene for quite some time. And after that, nowadays I'm taking it slow, focusing on my studio, and every now and then I do judging and performances.
Right. So when you started, you said you were, we've got very similar journeys actually, because we both started as tricksters and then we've kind of like developed into heels and stuff. What made you decide to go down that route? Was it just you were kind of done with tricks? You kind of wanted to try something new? What was it that made you choose to go down that route?
Mm, to be honest, when I to, even till now, I'm still enjoying pole dancing. And I really back then I really wanted to try everything there is about pole dancing. And my girlfriend at the time was playing around with heels. She was trying new stuff, and me, the very FOMO person that I am, after looking at her dance a few times, I'm like, let me try, let me try. And from there,
Right, okay.
I realized that there's a lot more to it. So I really wanted to like venture further into it and create my own style. So yeah, I think that was where it all started.
How would you describe your heels style? What would you describe it as?
Um, I started as a I gravitated towards flow first, and then I realized that because of my trickster background, I wanted to fit more of my trickster like stuff into it. So I can't, to be honest, I haven't figured out a word that would best describe my style. I kind of jump around, like depending on the song. If let's say it's more flow based, I would just like switch to my flow style. If let's say the song is really jumpy, really angry, I would switch over to that style as well. So I would say now is random,
Like a
mixture.
mixture.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So I've got to ask you this, and you must get asked this all the time. As someone who is dating women, it must be very hard to get into heels without like, do you ever get any judgment of women? Like, because I mean, as a gay man, I don't really. I guess maybe a lot of people kind of expect it from me, and they're like, "Oh, that's okay." But it must be a lot harder for, straight men to get into doing heels work. I mean, well, obviously, sorry, that was totally an assumption. I probably shouldn't have said that. But like straight or date, or even just dating women, like if someone is dating a woman, they obviously would assume that they're going to be a trickster, right? They're used to seeing, the Evgeny and like when Kira, when they are together, they sort of expect that, the guys doing all the tricks and the girls doing the exotic. They kind of expect that thing, because that's kind of what we first saw with Pole. Do you ever find that a really hard stigma to break?
I think I'm quite lucky in a sense whereby when I first started and I went into heels, I was doing it a lot with Dion, my girlfriend, and I think the community that was around me at that time was very supportive. Probably because they haven't really seen a lot of males doing heels at that time, and I feel that when I first started, for some reason, I'm not too sure how or why, but maybe I don't know, maybe my style was a little bit more, I don't think the word was masculine, but I think I had a different sort of style. And I don't know, to be honest, I'm not too sure actually. I think I would just say I'm maybe quite lucky that the community that I was surrounded by at that point of time was very supportive. So entering into it, I didn't really face a lot of backlash. And most of them were, wow, you're doing heels. Oh, that's fun. I want to try. Oh, that looks nice. Let me learn your choreo. Yeah, I was getting more of this versus backlash. So I'm quite lucky.
I do notice that. Yeah, I do notice that your style is very more like more of a like a masculine style. It's not. I wouldn't describe it as like the more traditional, maybe old school stripper styles. You're more of a hard style, like trick style. Like some of the stuff you can do in here, it's crazy. I mean, you can do the what is that? That it's like called a moonwalk
it,
or something, where you're in an Asia grip and you do the clock walk. You can do that in your heels, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like they're so heavy. Like how are you doing that in
it was
heels?
really
That's
something that
crazy.
since I began pole, like I think within the first 2 years when I watched one of the competitions and I saw this guy like doing an airwalk. I think I call it an airwalk. And I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And only recently I managed to nail that trick. And I told myself, what if I put that in heels? I don't think I've seen anyone do that, in EXO before. And that's where I just forced it out. I forced it out in one of the my judges' performance. And it might be the first time that people saw it. Yeah.
So crazy. I think I remember seeing you post it on socials, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it's hard enough to do without heels on, like let alone with heels. Like that's so insane. So, and this is the thing that kind of like sets you out and makes you a little bit more unique, I guess, in that style. But do you get a lot of like any negative feedback? I mean, maybe off of men online who come to your page and are like, what the hell? Because I know every now and then again I do, and I get people come on and they're like, what the hell? Why is this guy dancing in heels? Do you
From
get
time
any
to
of
time,
that?
I think inside the comment section, I will get one or two of like random people just saying that like why are you wearing heels? You should dance without heels and all that. But really, they come from non-pole dancers, so because they don't actually understand what we
Right.
do, I kind of just ignore it. I think over the years, because I'm surrounded by so much support for what I do, usually all these negative comments that come in, I kind of just brush it one side.
Yeah, I think you've got to, haven't you? You can't let it affect you. But I mean, do you get a lot of people assume? See, I feel terrible actually, and I'm going to admit on this podcast because I don't know if you remember, I had assumed when I first started talking to you that you were gay, and then I found out you had a girlfriend, and I was like, oh shit, like that's just such proof of why you shouldn't just judge a book by its cover. But like, do you
I
get
think
people assume
mainly
that a
from
lot?
online, sometimes the comments will come in, but I think generally for myself, this is just personal. I usually don't share too much on my personal life or anything. So usually when the comments come in, I kind of just ignore it because I mean I don't know them personally. I don't have to answer to them. Yeah. So yes, I'm
Right.
with my girlfriend and we're very happy. So yeah, they can think what they want. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. How long have you guys been together for?
Oh wow,
How long
I've
have you guys
met
been
her
together
for a really
for?
long time now. So about 9 years. Together officially about 4.
Oh, that's
No,
amazing.
it was longer than that.
That's
I feel like
nice.
she'll
Oh, I
kill
like
me
that
if
it's someone
I
that
feel
you've
like
kind of
she'll
like
if I
gotten to
forget the
know.
exact date.
It's longer.
17.
Well, Dion, if you're
Seven,
listening to
seven
this, I
together,
think
7
this
years.
is, I think this is a test. 7. Okay, right. So Dion has just calmed down now. So if Dion is listening to this, Dion's going to be like, okay, fine, he passed. So, and so you and Dion started this studio together, but how did your pole journey start? What actually got you into pole?
Oh, for in Singapore, we actually have to go through 2 years of mandatory national service, army. So nearing the end of it, I was a little bit more freer, and I wanted to try something new. It was either breakdancing or pole dancing. Somehow in my head, I thought pole dancing was going to be much easier. It wasn't. So I'm not saying that breakdancing is like easy or anything, but I'm just saying I expected that pole dancing was not going to be this tough. But yeah, I signed up for a trial class, and I think that's just like everybody else. They sign up for a trial class, they get hooked, and here we are.
And here you are. And you do this full time. This is your full time job.
Yes, that's right.
What did you do before?
Used to be I work in retail for about
Okay.
2 to 3 years, and yeah, that wasn't really for me. So pole dancing.
And that's when you then started the studio.
Yes.
Nice. So the reason I asked you on, not only to get to know you a little bit more and learn a bit more about you, but it was obviously because your social media is so on fire. Like, I really love the aesthetic of it. I mean, I love the aesthetic of your studio. You've obviously got a really good feel for aesthetics and stuff.
I
And
that
I want to try
for
and
that one I
like,
have to thank Dion. She is a very
ah.
very creative person, and do you know that she actually designed the entire studio?
Oh, right. So I was going to ask because the aesthetics of your studio, the very dark colors, the neon lights and stuff, whose idea was that? So that was
Yes.
Dion's idea, was it? So can you just can you give a shout out to the studio page? Just because if anyone's listening to this, they might want to go and look to see what
Oh,
we're talking about. What's the studio's
okay,
Instagram
so my
page?
studio's Instagram is called PSD, literally the letters here, and
Yep.
Pole SG.
So PXD Poll SG is
Pole SG.
the
Yes.
Instagram. Yeah, go and check it out because I mean we don't have any studios like that in the UK. See, the studios that we have in the UK are very differently structured. So yours looks like it's inside a building, is it? Is it like a big building
Yes.
and then yours right? So we don't really have anything like that in the UK. So in
Oh,
the UK, we have like units that are for industrial purposes, and a lot of people then repurpose them for poles. So we don't have like good heating in these spaces. Like
mm,
the studios don't have walls quite like the one behind you. They're kind of like what we call breeze block walls. So they're
okay.
not insulated. It's like, yeah, we're not as lucky here for sure, but there are a few really, really good studios. I actually saw a lot of people tagging your studio on the competition that we're running on
Yes, I
Polos, which is like, well, so a lot of people posting world's prettiest pole studio, a few people tag PXD. I mean, that's gone crazy, but yeah, I definitely, when I saw people tag you, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of a studio that I look at and think like it's very much a me aesthetic. I know it's not for everyone because obviously the dark colors, some people prefer light and bright, but I kind of like the dark vibe. Now, you use that aesthetic a lot in your Instagram videos and stuff, and I noticed that you keep very consistent with the aesthetic of your Instagram page. Is that intentional, or is it just happens to be that way?
Um, to when I first started, it just happened that way. So I have 2 rooms. Technically, I have 3, but 2 main rooms in my studio. One is a white room and one is a black room. So naturally, for my cooler videos like EXO or like dynamic tricks, I usually try to keep it in the black room just because it fits the feel. Whereas the spinny flow, like gentler stuff, I kind of put it in the white room. And for some reason, for like I would say quite a few months, like I was very into EXO and dynamic stuff. So somehow everything was in the black room. Yeah, it just happened. And then from
Right.
there, I kind of just like kind of just associate it as black room is this style and white room is this style. So And then from there, that's how I found
Nice.
Instagram.
And one of my favorite styles of your posts that you do is the transition stuff. You're very good at the transition stuff. How do you learn? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, I've done a couple of transition videos, and fuck my life, they're so hard to make. But you make them look so easy, and some of the transitions are actually very complicated. Like, so how did you learn to create content like that? Did you do a course? Did you find someone online who taught you, or what did you do?
So for myself, I was just surfing through TikTok and Instagram, and back then there wasn't when there weren't reels. I mainly focused, or rather, I learned all the TikTok, whereby you see very interesting transitions from like random creators, and then some of them have tutorials on it. So I'll see one that looks cool, and I'm like, okay, let's try. It was freaking difficult. At the beginning, it was really, really difficult. Like they made it so look so easy. Oh, step one, do this. Step two, do that. For me, I was like, step what? It didn't make sense at the beginning,
Right.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I kept watching more tutorials. I kept like looking on YouTube, TikTok, and just kept searching like example how to clone myself, example in a video. And from there, all the tutorials came out. Watch a few, and I just kept practicing and practicing.
What do you use? Do you use CapCut?
Yes, I use mainly InShot and CapCut for my videos. Most CapCut for the weirder ones.
Yeah, so a lot of so again, like for me, I remember seeing a few of these like transitions, and then as I was saving them, I started to then get in my feed tutorials on how to do them. I was like, great. Then I started saving the tutorials on how to do them. I mean, some of them, they're just so time consuming. Like me and my friend did literally, I think it was three transition videos on Halloween, right? Oh my God. Like there was one, right? There was one where you were supposed to like set up your camera and you walk past the pole, then you change your outfit, you walk past the pole again. And then
Yes, yes,
obviously
yes.
when you pass the pole, you change outfits. However, what they don't say is like you have to make sure your legs are walking in exactly the same place. Because when you walk past the pole, if you walk past the pole in the first shot with your left leg forward, and then on the next one you walk past with your right, it looks so weird.
Yes,
Could we get this video? Oh my God, no! It was a nut. We literally couldn't even post it
I
because it just
understand your
I
pain.
could not get it.
I really understand your
Oh,
pain. It has happened to me many times. I'll put the camera there. I'll be like, okay, let's do like 5 takes of the before, 5 takes of the after. I'll be walking. And then each time, for some dumb reason, the before I stepped with my left foot and the after I stepped my right foot. 20 minutes of
right.
videoing just gone.
Just
Just
gone.
gone, yeah.
Yeah, and this is just walking. This is the funniest part is that this is literally just walking past the pole. Imagine if you're doing it as like, when you see some people do like, well, I know you do some of them where you do like a flip and then you change outfit, or you do a
Yeah.
kip and you change outfit. Like these people having to record this, like if they're having to do that over and over and over and over again, like, oh my God, like the kips, like my knees would be killing me by the end, or like the flips, I'd be so tired by the end of doing this, like 20 flips just to get this perfect video. Like, how long do you spend? Like, what would you say is the average that you spent on a transition video? Like, how long would those cool transitioning videos take to
Usually
make?
for a video with just one transition, it takes me maybe about, if it's just purely videoing, maybe about 15 to 20 minutes. But if you're factoring in changing and like possibly changing the lights and whatnot, sometimes it can go up to 30 minutes.
Right. And then is that including editing?
No, editing.
Right.
Editing for this one. Nowadays, because have enough practice, I can do it quite quickly. Maybe about 5 minutes, I can edit it already.
Right, fair enough. Now, you obviously have lots of different content that you post. You've got content where you do more tricks or flows, and you've got like in the white room, then in the black room, you're doing like the exo stuff, you're doing like tricks in heels. And then you've got my favorite, the thirst traps. We need to talk about the thirst traps. So, first of all, I want to know how Dion feels about these thirst traps because they are just brilliant. So, how does Dion feel about them?
Funnily, she actually says, initially, it was mainly for fun. Me doing all these videos was just for fun, and there was a period where I kept posting it just because I was really enjoying the idea of like changing. Ooh, the shirt comes off and all that. And then Dion said, you know, you gotta stop posting so much of this. If not, people are going to get bored. So I generally she's
And but
quite
have they?
um no.
Yeah, but this is the thing, like the funniest part is like Instagram is just full of like, thirsty bitches, let's say, and so there's a lot of people like on Instagram who just love content like that. Like I actually, for me, that content for me, I more love to see what transition you're going to do because generally those ones are always transitions, and I'm always intrigued to see what transition you're going to do next. But listen, let me tell you this now. If I had a body like yours, you best believe I'd be doing thirst traps like that as well. Like how much are you training to be in this sort of shape? Like have you always been in good shape?
Um, I was actually a very skinny person, like before I did pole. And then from there, generally, being skinny, like super skinny at that point, like I didn't really feel very confident about myself. So I decided to hit the gym. And then after I hit the gym, like a few months later, I found pole. And then from there, I gymmed and pole and slowly built up my strength and my physique. Uh, but I think it might be because I'm teaching currently 7 times a day and uh, 7 times, no, sorry, 7 days a week. Sorry, not 7 times a day, 7 days a week. Sorry,
I was like, I was like 7 classes a day. Oh my
two,
God.
3 to 4 classes a day, 7 times a week, and I think that helps me to like my yeah, keep my physique.
You don't give yourself a day off?
This period, we are trying to like I'm trying to push myself a little bit more, and slowly, when my instructors, I'm training some instructors, so slowly once they are ready, then yeah, they will start to take over.
How new is PXD? Because like you were saying about training instructors, do you not have a team of instructors yet? Is that what you're looking to do now, or?
Oh no, do have a set of instructors already. But for myself, I still take on most of the teaching first. I ca- our level class, sorry, we have level classes, so I was just a little bit, I would say different, whereby when they level up as a class, they keep their time slot and they go level one, level two, level three, level four. So because some of classes like they didn't break apart, I kind of can't bear to throw them aside. So I want to keep my classes.
Oh, I was just about to say to you actually, like, do you find it really? Because I know I did, and it's taken me years. I mean, I've had my studio for over 10 years now, and I found it really hard to pass on classes because I really didn't want to, because I knew that my students didn't want me to go. But it was at a point where, like, do you not ever get burned out working 7 days a week? Because I got to a point where I was teaching like Monday to Friday, I was doing then online, then the studio, then I was going and teaching workshops on the weekend. And honestly, my body just couldn't take it. It literally was, I was getting sick all the time. And I was just like, I have to let something give here. Like, um, what's your sort of routine on making sure that you do get adequate amount of rest?
To be honest, I understand the burnt out feeling. Like it has happened to me before where I was really tired and like to be honest, in class I wouldn't say I'm not demoing as much, but I can feel that every move is beginning to like take a toll on me, whereby maybe previously like there's not much of an effect. Um, but yeah, I think progressively we like me and Dion, so like Dion is an instructor as well, and we kind of try and find more
Hmm.
time during the day, like when we close, as in when the studio is closed, to kind of relax more, try to find time to like maybe go for massage. Yeah, so basically, in order to counter like amount of classes that we're teaching, we try our best to be more relaxed in the day.
Yeah. Do you and Dion take holidays? Do you go on holiday?
Yeah, yes, we do. So previously, before we had our pet bunny, we we were very frequent in traveling, but now we have our fur baby, so it's a little bit harder. But yes,
Try having three dogs and a cat. It's even harder. Like at least
yes,
with the
I know you
bunny,
have.
like with the bunny, I guess you could get someone just to come in and feed the bunny, right? But with three dogs, you can't just have someone come in and feed them. They've got to be like looked after all day. It's a freaking nightmare. But yeah,
Oh, you'll be surprised.
that's another story.
Our bunny has a fear of smells, so like we have to be sure that like basically the environment has to be controlled. And for us, we don't actually get someone to come over to our place to feed the bunny. We bring the entire bunny and all its stuff all the way to my mom's place. So like every single thing to my mom's place, and then we get my mom to take care of. the bunny for the entire
Oh.
duration.
And is your mum living in the centre of Singapore as well?
No, she's somewhere like more towards the east, but generally Singapore is so small that everything's maybe 15 to 20 minutes drive away.
Oh, nice. That's okay. So you do drive in Singapore, or is it like, because like in London, central London, no one drives there because it's just not worth it. But you do drive in Singapore?
Yes, we drive.
Nice. Okay, cool. Sorry, that was totally going off track. We were talking about the whole body thing actually. Um, when you're posting this sort of content, and I'm asking this from a point of view of like body dysmorphia, things like this, like, do you ever find like you get any comments from people about your body or about the way you talk about your body and stuff? Only because, and I only mention this because we've talked about this in some other previous podcasts where, you know, people have been attacked for being proud of their body progress or weight loss and things like that. I know I've had it, and one of the previous people I've had on the podcast, Becky, she's a personal trainer as well, and she posts a lot of before and afters of
Mm.
her students. And people get quite offended by it. Do you hit any problems like that when you're posting like the thirst trappy content, or not
Um,
really?
Not, to be honest, I don't really get much negative comments about it. I hope it's because
That's
they
good.
are like they kind of can see that it's mainly for fun. Uh, and to be honest, I don't really talk much about like my before and after for myself. I generally just
Sure.
post like the thirst traps and my work videos, like basically just the current stuff. So I try just personal. I don't
Yeah.
really post too much about like my past or my personal stuff. But that's just me.
And let's talk about that because I find that really interesting because actually that's a real different style of managing your socials, right? Because with social media, there's this sort of debate about do we need to give our followers more information about our lives? You know, you'll see. I'm going to give an example. Actually, one person that is doing really well at doing stuff like that at the moment is Kira Noir. I know you know Kira Noir, and Kira is posting a lot more stuff, personal stuff, on her stories, and that's kind of it's kind of nice to see. Like, is that something that you think you'd ever consider doing, or are you quite happy keeping
I
yourself
think
private?
it's for myself. Dion actually told me as well that sometimes I am very like everything's about poll for my Instagram, and it is actually okay for me to share some of my personal stuff. I won't say that it's a struggle too, but I think I will be a bit more selective in what I share. I feel that sometimes people can actually distort the way, like example, if I post something, they might distort the way, like they might, I don't know, like let's say I post about something, they might like somehow link it all the way to something else. So usually I try to like avoid that kind of situations. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not
Where do
too
you think
sure.
that comes from?
It doesn't really happen so much for me, but sometimes when you see other people's stories, and then example, they'll be tagging someone, and then from there, somebody else will be like, "Oh, do you see this person's post, or do you see this person's story? Why is she like that? Why is he like that? Why is she like?" And you're like, mm, you don't really know. Like sometimes it just sounds very distorted. Like it doesn't like when you read it as one person, it's like doesn't sound offensive. But then
Yeah.
somehow when another person tells you about it and then they give their own in about it, you're like, really? Is that what she meant? That kind of feeling. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
think there has to be a balance, doesn't there? I think I feel there's definitely I know there is, and I'm not going to mention names, of course. There's a lot of people who do maybe share more than what I would with my followers, and they almost share probably they're a bit too much of an oversharer, maybe like it's stuff that I kind of could have lived without knowing. But you know, like
Yeah.
when you see people, but that's their style, and that's what they like to do. They want to be open and honest. You know, some people say to me like, "Why don't you really post much about your husband?" I'm like, because that's our private life. Like, I don't want my marriage to become part of my work. I think that's the separation for me. It's
Mm.
like, it doesn't get me wrong. Like, I'll post pictures of us on holiday sometimes or whatever, but I don't start talking to people like, oh, me and my husband, this is what we did on the weekend, and we did this and we ate this together and we did this together, blah blah. I just
Yeah.
no, like I want some private life. Do you know what I mean? And not because I don't want to tell people or because I'm embarrassed or because I'm being shady. It's just I feel like you have to have that balance. You've got to have something to yourself. You can't be open about everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's basically just if you want to post on like your private life, I guess in moderation. But I feel that everyone it's to each their own. There is nothing wrong with posting a lot about your private life, and there is no harm in not posting anything about your private life.
Yeah, I think for anyone that is listening to this, I'm just going to reiterate what I was just saying about like you can do what you want to do. Like if you want to, if some people have made a name of themselves just from posting about their personal life, so it's not to say you can't. It's just personal preference. So do what feels good for you, I
Yeah,
guess. Um, Now you've had a lot of your. I mean, how many followers are you at now? You're at 100 and.
25K.
Nice. So a really decent amount of followers. Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt your episode. I just wanted to quickly hop in and tell you about one of our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by ArtGo Sport, so a massive thank you to ArtGo Sport for sponsoring this episode and sponsoring the Weekly D. ArtGo Sport are a polewear company and they specialize in high quality, comfortable polewear. And they actually offer a service where you can make personalized adjustments to your outfits. Like, how cool is that? So, if you need different adjustments to your outfits, you can mix and match their designs, you can make adjustments where needed and request to them directly. And all of their orders are completed within 2 to 3 business days with worldwide shipping. Go and check out ArtGo Sport. Did you have something go viral where your following just like shot up, or did you just find that the growth was natural over a certain period of time?
It was honestly, it was a very, I didn't expect it at all. So I was mainly just trying to play around, and the video that went viral was a video of me doing just purely body waves on a pole. I did that video out of like literally out of fun because we were doing an instructor shoot, and everything was set up so nicely, and I didn't have photos or videos. No, wait, I did, but I just wanted something. I wanted more. So I was like, okay, can you help me video this? And I just went onto the pole and I started body waving. That's it. Just body waving, and I uploaded that. And it hit, I think, 130K likes or something like that. And I was like, whoa,
Wow.
everyone's thirsty.
Right. But I don't know if you've ever seen this guy. There is a guy, I don't think he's actually a pole dancer, but he does the same. He does the body rolls holding onto the pole, but he gets like really into it. He's got, I know it sounds really weird. Of course, this is the thing that I noticed, but his spinal movement is amazing. Like he can really roll his spine, so it looks really, really cool. And he gets a lot of these videos go viral because he's posting this sort of stuff. Do you think, like, did you ever see his stuff before you posted yours? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm not too
Can't remember his name.
not too sure. Do you have a
Yeah,
name?
I don't know his name. No, to be honest, it's not someone I
Oh,
follow
okay.
because he isn't a pole dancer. So it was just a guy who's like a dancer, and he must have been like in a pole studio, like training, and then was like, oh, I'm going to get a video holding the pole. It's gone viral, and now it's pretty much all he posts. Because I remember scrolling through this guy's page thinking, oh, is this a pole dancer? And I was like, oh, no, he's not a pole dancer. He's just doing this like body wave thing. But why do you think content like that goes viral over content like your pole combos and stuff?
Mm, to be honest, just
Because there's a lot of
yeah.
thirsty bitches out there. Is that what you want to say? You can say it.
Uh,
Say it.
maybe, but no. I feel that one of the reasons is generally people. I don't know. Maybe they're this one. I do feel that my longer videos generally don't do as well as my shorter videos. So I mean, I'm not going to body wave for 1 whole minute. So naturally, my body wave videos are a lot shorter, or rather, those kinds of videos are generally shorter, and maybe that I it does better because yeah, I generally feel that shorter videos are a little bit
It's
better
shorter.
because like not like if let's say you go into what's that, the insights, usually you see that people for like a 1 minute video, it will start out quite high and then progressively like the viewers will just drop all the way to the end. So
Drops
my
down.
combo videos naturally I would say 45 seconds to a minute. Yeah, they don't do as well because I think everyone's attention would just.
Right. So how do you catch people's attention in that first 10, 15 seconds? Like is that something you focus on when you're creating stuff? Do you think, right, how can I really capture their attention at the beginning so that they're going to stay until the end? Is that something you ever take into consideration?
I when I first started, I didn't really think too much about it, to be honest. It was really just for fun, and I might have an idea of, oh, okay, I want to like with my shirt this way, like I want to try a new transition. So I was really focused onto that. Nowadays, nowadays I can't, okay, for my posts, I don't really think too much about trying to like grab their attention for the few seconds, because honestly speaking, if you wanted to see my pole combo and all that, you'll just watch it for what it is. So for pole videos and
Right.
EXO choreos and all that, I don't really think too much about how to grab the audience for the first within the first few seconds. As for my those videos, um, for those videos, I don't think too much as well, but I would set like conditions in a sense, like within the first 3 seconds or so, I'll try to get the transition going already, or I'll make it very obvious that it's a transition type video, like somehow to make it known so that at least people will
Right.
know, okay, they gotta wait for something.
What's your thoughts around the whole the fact that people just aren't really engaging with long videos anymore? Like, do you think as pole dancers we need to move towards shorter content? Because I have
Mm.
noticed that a lot of the videos that are going viral, a lot of the videos that do really well, they tend to be 15 seconds or less. Because one thing I have noticed as well is that if you can make a video that gets to the point within 15 seconds, it means that people are likely to share it on their stories. And I've noticed this is something with my own content recently. Like any of the funny videos that I'm posting and stuff, if it's funny within 15 seconds, people then share it.
Yeah.
Whereas if it takes you a while to kind of get to the point or get to the joke, people just don't share it because it's not going to show up when someone shares it on their stories anyway, because it's only going to show 15 seconds of the video you've done anyway.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts around stuff like that? Do you think we need to start moving towards shorter videos?
Mm, to be honest, I don't really think I feel that there should be a mixture, to be honest, because I don't believe that I can do a entire flow combo in under 15 minutes. And to be honest, I don't want to as well. Like, yes, views and I don't know, likes, I could always get those in another kind of video, but ultimately my goal is still to share pole to the world, and I want more people to know about pole dancing. And yeah, I want them to have the full experience. That if that means me doing a 3 minute video of me like doing a proper spin climb, like doing proper like layouts and all that, I'm going to do that, because that is a style that we have in pole dancing, and I want people to know about it. I don't want them to just know like, I don't know, a 15 seconds worth of it, in a sense.
Yeah. And how important is following to you? Like what benefit do you personally get from following? Like what do you get from having a decent following and getting good engagement?
I feel that by at least by having a larger following, like at least if let's say I have an opinion on something, and like right now my goal is to share pole dancing with the world, as in like my style of pole dancing, like the side, exo side, possibly even the Magic Mike side of it. I want people to know that it exists, and by having that a larger following, like I feel that my voice can be better heard, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm trying to build my followers because want more people to know about I want more people to know about pole dancing. Yeah.
Is there any benefit to you financially to having a larger following? Can you think of any benefits financially that you would get from having a larger following?
Technically, if let's say like random people from other countries follow me and they come to Singapore, they might want to come to my studio and take us.
Right. Because this is what I was trying
Yeah.
to get at. Because actually, I thought that might have been the reason why. Because normally, with most, not everyone, some people just want to have more followers, and that is what it is. But for you, I thought maybe it might have been that you wanted to get your name out there within Singapore so that more people would come to your studio. But also, I guess it has financially benefited you in many ways. Like, you were just recently judging a competition, you were teaching workshops, you're probably teaching more workshops now than you were maybe 5 years ago. So was that something you'd planned to do with the socials, or was the growth just something that came from some effort, and then these benefits came? Or was the teaching workshops and stuff, was that something you really wanted to do?
All along, I one of my goals doing pole dancing and all that was to like travel the world and like workshops here and there. But in terms of building my Instagram, it was not part of it. I honestly wanted to do it for fun at the beginning. And once I saw that, oh, okay, I could do funny stuff and like build my followers, that was where I was like, okay, I'm going to build my followers because I want more people to know about pole dancing. So that was my main goal. Then somehow the workshops, the judging and all that like came after, which I'm very, very thankful for, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that just kind of came as a byproduct. I mean, for me, like, when I first started, it was so different to what it is now, because I did my main goal was when I started Poland. So I was like, right, I went to workshops with like Felix Kane, Zariah Judd, Alethea Austin, right? And when I was going to these workshops, I remember thinking, I would love to do that as a job, like traveling the world, teaching these workshops. And I remember thinking, that's my goal. I'm going to work really hard to do that. But back then we couldn't do that through following, because we didn't have Instagram when I first started. I think it came shortly after,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a big thing back then. It was just pictures, and then eventually they did 15-second videos. So it was still like very much in its infancy.
Yeah.
And then I had to compete. So competing was a big thing for me to build following. Now, you've done a lot of competitions. Did you find that the competitions helped you with following, or did you find the competitions didn't really do anything for that?
Definitely, it did help me for sure. For every single competition that I went to, like there will be a lot of, um, I would say the odds, like they would come over, they would take pictures, and they would ask for my Instagram, and they'll say they want to follow me. So yeah, competitions definitely help build my competitions definitely helped build my following at the beginning. Back for reels and all
Yeah.
that.
And do you do competitions anymore?
Nowadays, I don't do them as much anymore. I've stopped for about 2 to 3 years, mainly because I wanted to focus on my studio and like just kind of take it slow a bit. But I'm hoping to at least compete once or twice more. Once or twice
How many competitions have you done?
more. Oof, I can't remember off the top of my head, but about 10 to 12 maybe, about there.
Nice. Yeah, like a good amount, but not too many.
Yeah, not too many.
I feel like I did so many. I mean, I must have done probably way over 20 or 25. Like, I've
Oof.
done a lot of competitions over a long period of time. And I literally did too many that actually made me sick of competition. So now I'm just like, no, never again. But actually, that made me a little bit lazy. So I will say that I then kind of like settled a little bit, and I was like, well, I'm not competing anyway. And then now I've kind of got back to where I like to be, and I'm kind of pushing myself a little bit again, just because we're not going to be able to
Mm.
do this for very long, right? And do you ever think about stuff like that? Do you ever think about like what you want to do after pole? Like, what's the after pole life looking like
Um,
for you?
to be honest, yeah, it's like quite a scary thought because pole dancing, like right now, it's my livelihood and everything. Um, I have put some thought into it. I have been thinking about, okay, maybe like find I generally love fitness in like fitness, dance and all that. So I'll definitely gravitate towards that direction. So probably like train either I'll be training instructors or I'll be like doing something else that is related to either dance or fitness and like being an instructor in that department. Yeah. It'll definitely have to be some
How old are you, if you don't mind me
I'm going to
asking?
be 31.
Okay, yeah, fair. So yeah, so I mean, I'm 35, so you're only like 4 years younger than me. But like, I just think it's something that it's good that you have thought about it. And again, I've talked, if anyone has listened to this podcast often enough, it's something I talk about a lot. I think about it all the time. It consumes me way too much, but I do really worry about like what I'm going to do after this. And like, so I'm always like trying to really try and like invest myself into being like, right, okay, how are we going to protect our future here? So that's something I think about a lot. But going back to social media,
Yeah.
so you mentioned about TikTok earlier on. Do you prefer TikTok over Instagram? Do you use TikTok much? What are your thoughts around TikTok?
I used to use TikTok a lot more back before Reels existed. It was mainly for fun. I was just posting like my poll videos and all that. And I think after a while, there was a period where I was just like kind of done with social media. Not say done in terms of like I was stopping, but rather I kind of just like took a chill, like didn't post as much anymore. And then from there, I went back to Instagram, and then that was where Reels was happening. And then now everything, I'm mainly on Instagram now. TikTok is just like I just post the same
Nice.
thing onto TikTok, but I focus more on Instagram.
Right, okay.
Not sure why.
Yeah, I feel, do you not find that I've noticed that pretty much all pole dancers are mainly on Instagram. I think the feedback
Yeah.
tends to be that it's a lot more censored on TikTok. Have you ever had stuff taken down on TikTok before?
Yes, there was quite a few. Mostly is anything that is me flinging myself, or it's either when I'm flinging myself or when I'm just doing like a few body rolls.
We say
Somehow they
flinging
would
yourself.
just
What do you mean?
like example flares or phoenix, like basically things that looks dangerous, like
Ah,
excessively dangerous. Yeah. So for sometimes they will somehow flag it and take it down. I'm not sure why. But most of the time it is like body rolls, and yeah, body rolls are the ones that are taken down. Like
that's
example,
really
there was this
odd.
belt choreography. The
Oh, the belt
that
one.
the belt one, yes. A few of it got taken down.
Yeah, I mean that one was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I mean, it wasn't sexually explicit, was it? But I mean, it was a bit more raunchy than some of your other stuff, I guess you could say. But yeah, like now with TikTok, do you use it more as, because for me, I don't really post on TikTok, but I do love scrolling through TikTok. I find
Yeah.
TikTok more of a positive place. Do you notice that?
Um, no, for myself, not too sure why, but they feel about the same. But I think for TikTok, most of the things, at least for myself, they are very they're more informative. Like you have a lot of people talking about stuff, whereas for Instagram, it's like dog videos and cat videos.
Yeah, well, no, see, but then I find as well, like, and actually, anyone who's listening to this who's like, oh yeah, my Instagram, my TikTok's really depressing. I really recommend you to have a good clear out on your Instagram because what I noticed was on my Instagram, I was finding it really depressing.
Mm.
I noticed that I had a lot of people showing up in my feed who are within the community but who are quite negative, who are always complaining about stuff or are, canceling someone or are,
Yeah.
trying to kick off about some subject. So what I did, and it was nothing personal to these people, I just blocked them. So I tried to block that, and then what I did was I to avoid stuff like that coming up in my feed, I just started searching really stuff that I love seeing. Like, I know it sounds really weird, but I love seeing like good news. Like there's a page I follow called Go Happiest. And it's all happy stuff that's happened. Like someone's been reunited with their dog, or, someone has gotten married and,
That's nice.
whatever. It's all these like really good news things. I really love stuff like that. And I mean, who doesn't love dog
Yes.
videos, right? So I love dog videos. I get a lot of dog videos come up. So, but I had to really go out my way to like block a load of people, unfollow a load of people. Then I had to go to my searches. I had to start saving and liking
Yeah.
stuff. And then the algorithms were like, oh, he saved this dog video, he did this. We're going to show him more dog videos. And then eventually it started clearing itself out. And now I love going on
Yes.
Instagram because actually it's a very positive, fun place. But before that, I noticed it was getting real depressing. Have you ever noticed that with your pages before? Have you ever noticed it's been a
Um,
bit
for
like negative
For
and
I think I might be like maybe watching too many dog videos. Like sometimes I get really invested in them, and I'll just like, oh, this dog is really cute, and I'll go to the profile, just watch every single one of it. So I am very thankful that none of the like negative stuff really comes in. I mean, every now and then you'll definitely see one, but um because of the oh no, I feel so bad for saying, but because of the amount of dog videos and cat videos that I watch, they probably just overshadow this like one negative video.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what you want. I mean, I'd much rather have too many dog videos than a negative video that's just people complaining and moaning. But one, I don't know if you follow this person, but they are great with social media. It's a guy and a golden is the Instagram page, and it's a
Very
guy with his
familiar.
golden retriever. And oh my God, he is so funny. The way they edit these dog videos is so clever. But yeah, I mean, in terms of actually that sort of that discussion there about how he's very clever with his Instagram, like
Mm.
he posts almost every day. He's very consistent. Like, do you have like a routine that you follow for posting on Instagram and what time
Um,
of day you should post?
Nowadays, honestly speaking, nowadays I don't follow it too strictly. Previously, back when I started, I told myself I have to post every single day, and it got really exhausting. Like I, like everything seemed to look the same after a while. So, once that happened, and thankfully Dion is like really different all that, and she can actually see this kind of thing. She will tell me, your videos are starting to be very repetitive. Like it feels like you're just posting for the sake of posting. And then once I heard that, yeah, I kind of could see it, and from there I toned it down. And nowadays, I don't
Hmm.
follow a very strict structure anymore. I would kind of just do my take a look at my feed and just see, okay, am I doing too many thirst traps? Okay, I gotta post a pole video. Am I doing too many pole videos? Okay, post maybe some stretching. Yeah, so nowadays a bit more chill. I will still take a look at my Instagram, but not so strict anymore.
Do you post a certain amount of times a week? Like in a week, how many times would you post? Would you try and post every day, or do you try and post maybe 3 times a week?
Nowadays, I try to go for about at least 2 times a week, and like that's enough for me
Three
nowadays.
times a week, yeah, yeah, yeah.
2 to 3, yeah.
Okay, nice. And then when you were growing your page and it got to the size it is, were you posting every day back then? Is that when?
Almost every other day.
And this was when Dion said that she felt it was getting a bit repetitive. Is that when she said that?
Yeah.
But do you find your following is growing now that you've reduced the amount? The only reason I ask this is because one thing that everyone says a lot and have said on this podcast, you're actually the first person to say you post 3 times. A lot of people are always saying about like post every day. Try to post at least once a day. Repurpose your content, post every day and keep that consistency because it will help you grow. And a lot of people have noticed that their following grew when they were posting consistently. Do you find that you're still growing now, even though you're not posting every day?
Um, yes, I'm still growing. Of course, it's not going to be as fast. In my opinion, that both methods actually work. Like if let's say you can come up with like very creative videos very regularly and you have the energy to do so like every single day, I think means go for it. Sometimes you might even be able to post 2 times a day. I feel there is no harm, especially with Reels. There is no harm with posting a lot more because for Reels, from what I remember reading, most of the time it takes it a while before it actually like reaches the public or something like that. So once you post on Reel, like you
Yeah.
kind of just let it sit there, and then maybe like 1 week later, it might suddenly and magically become viral. So for someone who has a lot of energy and maybe creative juice, I feel once a day or maybe once or twice a day, entire week, no harm. Um, Whereas if let's say maybe you've been doing that for a while and you're starting to, I would say, like everything seems to be very similar already. I feel that there is no harm with
Hmm.
cutting back for a bit, like posting maybe like myself 3 times, 2 to 3 times a week, and just making sure that you put in a bit more time and effort
Hmm.
into those 2 to 3 videos so that it doesn't look the same. Then I think yeah,
So
yes,
it's
higher
just like a
quality.
higher quality but less often. Yeah. Did you ever have a change in style in the way you posted? Did you ever look at the style of how you were posting on socials and be like, do you know what? I'm actually going to try a different style of posting. And I'll give you an example just to help. But like, for example, recently I've started talking a lot more. I've started like putting like captions and stuff on my videos, and I've noticed that has increased my engagement a lot more. Have you ever had any periods like that where you
For
changed
me,
your
I feel
style?
that this is just personal. Previously, I feel that further videos generally don't do as well. I'm not too sure whether it's a legit thing or not, but I feel that most of the videos that do better are the ones that are closer, where the audience like you fit the frame a little bit better. So I start to kind of like
Uh-huh.
video a lot closer nowadays, and definitely, uh, I feel
Right.
landscape doesn't do as well as portrait. That's my opinion.
Oh, well, absolutely. Like when people are doing landscape and it comes up on a reel, it comes up really horrible. Do you know, I know it sounds so stupid, but aesthetically, I just can't stand looking at this like black boxes either side of it.
Yeah.
So, like, it would be very rare to see a video from me in landscape style on a reel. Don't get me wrong, I might post a landscape picture, but I don't really post pictures that often. Um, Now, you mentioned about the filming close. What do you think it is about filming closer that people enjoy more? Do you think it's just more aesthetically pleasing?
Honestly, I have no idea. Personally, when I watch a video for like a pole video or pole combo, I it doesn't matter if let's say there's a lot of space around the dancer. But for some reason, like when I'm looking at the insides of my videos, I realize that the ones that are doing a little bit better, I mean with like pole videos, are usually the ones that are closer. I mean it could be the choice of tricks that I'm doing, but for some reason it just seems like closer videos did like better for me. So that's just for me. I'm not too sure whether it's the same for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I I want to know your opinion on, because again, this is something that I haven't actually discussed on the podcast yet, and you just reminded me of it. A style that people are doing a lot more now, and I don't know if you do this on your EXO videos or choreo routines, is when people do the tippy, or I call it tippy filming. Oh, did you see that?
Oh wow.
I mean, you do that, the tippy filming and stuff. But when you do the tippy filming and like people are like going in and out with the camera, and they're kind of just
Mm.
moving the camera around. What's your thoughts on that? Because that is a real people doing the tippy filming is such like for some people it's a bit of an ick. They don't like
Yeah.
it, and then other people love it. I love the way it looks. I think it makes it look more interesting. It kind of catches my eye more. But what's
Yeah.
your
I
thoughts?
feel that it depends on we're talking about choreography, right? So I feel that it
Right.
depends on the the style, I would say. Like example, if it's an accented one, I wouldn't want the camera to be moving so much just because I wanted to see all like the micro movements. Whereas if let's say maybe
Yeah.
it's something flowier, okay, maybe yes, I'll do a little bit more. Because usually I video Dion, so this is just my style of it. For accented ones or things that have harder beats, I try not to move as much so that the audience can actually see the impact. Um,
Yeah.
Whereas for like maybe gentler ones, I try to move a little bit more. But I usually don't shake as much because it might make like not everyone is comfortable and they might feel a bit nauseous. I have heard of some people feeling a bit nauseous, like it feels like they are motion sickness.
Right. Yeah, some people
Yeah.
have said that. Some people are like, oh God, I don't like it. It makes me motion sick. I think I posted it on Polos once and was like, what do
Yeah.
you think of it? And some people loved it, some people hated it. It really is down to personal preference, I think. But then I think really like, and again, for anyone listening to this, I don't necessarily think tippy filming is going to be the difference between your content being amazing or being
Yeah.
average. It's like if the content is bad anyway, it's just not going to do well. I don't know if you follow, do you know
Yes.
Isabella from Russia?
Ella Basic, yeah.
Ali Bazzi, her name is on Insta. Yeah, Ali Bazzi. So she films her choreos, and she doesn't do the tippy filming when she's in her classes. And let me tell you, I
Yeah.
watch those from beginning to end. She only really posts them on her stories, but like I love them because I love the accents that she does. So I totally get what you mean about those accents and stuff. Do you tippy film yourself? Do you get anyone to tippy film you?
Usually for myself, if let's say the video is a little bit like on the easier side or no, rephrase. Most of the time I video by myself. Like I just put the camera stand because I learned how to what's that called? Like trace. Basically, like I can move the camera or move the like when I edit it, I'm always in the center. It's an
Yeah,
editing
yeah, yeah.
style. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some of my other videos, I'll get Dion to video for me.
Nice. Okay. How's her filming skills? Who's better, you or Dion?
Dion.
Dion is better. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So, just to wrap us up, I just wanted to get an idea of what your top tips are for social media. For anyone that's listening to this that wants to grow their socials, what would you say your top tips are?
I feel okay, but all of this is just personal. Like everyone will definitely have their own like idea and tips for what could be good for them. So for myself, I feel that it's really good to have like a changer for whatever you're posting. So that's I mean when I say changer, I don't mean oh you have to do every style. If you're talking about pole dancers, like you don't have to do each style of pole dancing. I would say example, if your thing is maybe style, sometimes you could do a singular trick that is really cool. So that's one type of video. And then sometimes you could do long combos, and then sometimes it could be informative videos and all that. So like have different variations of the same thing, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's one of my tips. Another one I would say is to not be afraid to play around with trends. Naturally, trends are trends for a reason, and you cannot just like look at one and adapt it to like your field. So, like example, there was this thing that was going on. I was trending. It was like constantly appearing on my feed, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. Yes, I did it wholesale, but I also did one with in a pole choreo that I taught my students as well. Of course, I edited it. It wasn't like full blown the exact choreo, but yeah. Don't be afraid to play with trends.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that whole like Texas choreo, the people that tried to make
Yes.
it like pole, play with
Yeah.
it, like have fun with it. I mean, it wasn't for me because I kind of really got sick of that song, but like, I totally understand why people did it. And there are little trends that people get on and they go
Yeah.
viral. So
Because
it's
people want to
like,
see like
yeah,
different versions
I
of
totally
this.
think it's
Yeah.
worth
Different
trying.
versions of that trend. Yeah.
Exactly. As well, what do you think about like trending audio? Do you ever look at that? Because one thing, and again, this is just a tip for anyone, when you're looking for music on Instagram, there is like a little arrow next to the music and it points upwards,
Yeah.
I believe. So it's like a little arrow pointing upwards and it's like, it basically shows you that it's a trending sound. So I always try to use a trending sound that has maybe less than like
5,000. Yeah.
5,000 uses. Do you do anything like that? Do you monitor anything like that when you're using sounds?
There was a period where somehow like all the Instagram coaches were appearing on my feed, and they'll keep showing me like, oh, use this song, use this song. I will go and search for that song and I'll save it. And so yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
Why
just use it.
not?
I find that as long as it fits my video, it works, it's fine. But of course, if let's say it's a choreography video, I obviously wouldn't do that. But for those funny videos or like a full tricks video
Yeah.
that where the song doesn't matter, yeah, I'll try to use trending songs most of the time.
I, do you know what I found that actually the two of my videos that kind of went semi-viral where they got loads and loads of comments and loads of engagement on them, they were trending sounds. So it was like a sound like funny sounds, like not music actually. It was like funny sounds that were just like doing really, really well. And then all of a sudden I just noticed that I was like, what the hell is all these comments? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's on that video that I posted like 5 days ago. So like you'd said about stuff might not go viral straight away. It might take a little while. I totally agree with that because I've had videos that have like a week later gone viral.
Yeah.
I've been like,
It's really
what?
random.
So random. But I think it's because
Mm.
of the sound. 100%. I think the sound has something to do with it for sure. Do you have any like don'ts, like things that you don't recommend people to do, things to avoid?
This one is personal, but I feel that this is just personal. I that maybe don't vent so much. Like sometimes, no, let me rephrase. I would say that maybe this
Venting.
is also in life as well, whereby don't vent the moment like you're angry and then you straight away vent it on social media. Just because firstly people can distort things and screenshot is there. So like even though you like maybe right off the bat you're pissed off at something and you vent it out, someone is gonna screenshot that and it's gonna just, I don't know, like haunt you for life or something. So
Do you mean like if someone didn't win a competition and then they vent about it on social media?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I wasn't talking about that. I wasn't talking. It did not cross my mind. It literally did not cross my mind.
No, that's it. Do you know what? I'm not going to say his name, but I do love him. And I saw the post and I understand the frustrations. But you know what? This was such a good point you made actually about like don't vent your frustrations because it's one of those things that not everyone's going to agree with you, and that's something that I've learned the hard way is that not everyone's going to agree with you. You might think that something is really really wrong, and you will post about it and be like, I'm angry about this. Are you angry about this? And some people are like, no. Why are you? And then they'll kind of try and put you in your place. And actually, you then start to think, oh, maybe I shouldn't feel this way. And actually, you probably just should just just go to bed, babe.
Yeah.
Just go to bed. You know,
Yeah,
like
I
go and
feel that it's
sleep on
really
it.
good to like
Turn your
I would
phone
say
off.
sit for about 12 to 24 hours or maybe even longer and just like really register and I would say take a chill first. Anyway, the only reason I said that was because
Correct.
like these things have happened like within I wouldn't say within my circle, but generally in Singapore before. Like we would see like a student vent about a studio or something like that, and then we'd be like, I don't think that was really like the reaction is just like, you shouldn't have posted that kind of feeling. I wasn't thinking about that. The other,
Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. I think that's a really good point. And as well, you've got to remember that when you vent about stuff, like I said, you're going to get people who agree and people who don't. And actually that can
Mm,
sometimes affect your following. So if you're trying to work on following and you're going to go down the controversial route, that's one thing you just got to be really conscious of.
yeah.
Any other don'ts that you recommend?
Mm.
Or is that the main
That
one?
was really the main one for me because the other one was to not overshare personal stuff, but that one is really personal. I feel there is nothing wrong, but this is just for me, just because I
Yeah.
really feel that sometimes people will. I don't know. Screenshot is just a very dangerous tool.
Oh my God, it so is,
Yeah.
yeah. And I know I'm not the only one, but you know, my friends screenshot stuff and send it to me all the time. Like, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And you know, yeah, this is why I'm super conscious of it now. I try just to keep my page as love and light as possible.
Yeah.
You know, I'll talk about subjects, but it won't be stuff where people be like, they feel the need to screenshot it
Mm.
and like send it. So I always think like, is this going to cause drama? Is it worth the drama? Let's just leave it. And I'm the same with comments as well. Sometimes I'll see a post and I'll think, this is absolute bullshit. And I'll think, I really want to comment. And then I just think, what's the point? Don't bother. It's not worth it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like that person who didn't win that competition. I didn't really agree with posting about it, but I also love that person and I'm a big fan. So I just thought, I'm not going to comment because we've all got to learn these things along the way. And I'd noticed that a lot of people had already kind of attacked this person in the comments. And I thought, they're probably dealing with enough shit. I don't want to, you know, comment and be like, you know, take this down kind of thing. But yeah, I just, but then it's one of those things. Don't do things in anger. I
Mm.
guess, like you said, it was a great piece of advice. Wait a minimum. I would say 48 hours. If you still feel like you need to post,
Yeah.
feel free. But
Let
after
everything
48
cool down
hours, you
first.
will be. Of course, you'll be so over it in 48
Yeah.
hours. That's one thing I've always noticed is like, if you still feel passionately about something in 48 hours and you want to post about it, you know, do it at your own peril, of course. But if you don't, that's quite normal because normally after about 24 hours, I'm like, nah, whatever, on to the next thing.
Mm.
Listen, Lewis, thank you so much for coming on. I've loved chatting to you.
No
It's been
worries. Thank
really
you for having
great to
me.
learn about your thirst trap lifestyle. But are we going to be seeing more thirst traps in the future? I hope the answer is yes. Possibly, yeah. There's a
Yes.
high possibility. Good.
High possibility.
Well, I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to see what cool transitions and stuff you're going to come up with. Just let everyone know what's your Instagram page. Where can they find you? Give us just like your Instagram page so everyone can go and find you now.
For pole videos, Excel videos, and thirst traps, you can go to Louis_PXD pole SG.
Yes. So go and check out Lewis's profile. Thank you so much for coming on. I really
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
having
And
me.
I'll see you when I come to Singapore. I can't wait.
Yes, do come. Let's do an Excel video together here.
I would love to. See you soon.
See you. See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to this week's Weekly D, where I have the lovely Lewis on to talk to me about all things social media, especially how to create the best thirst trap content for Instagram. Without further ado, this is the Weekly D. Because, honey, if you ain't getting your D on the daily, you better at least be getting it once on the weekly.
That was all the tea that you can get this week. Join me